Good evening. Welcome to Star Talk. I'm Ken Eccles, and we're happy to have you with us on the program tonight. Excuse me while I put this over there. Phone line is up there for you to call. The number should be right about there. I can't see it, but that's where I think it is. The email address might be up there somewhere. In case it isn't, it's easy to remember. It's keneckleslive@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you either by phone or by email. There is pollen in the air. Many of you already know there's pollen in the air without being told. And because there's pollen in the air, I'm a little bit hoarse, a little bit hoarse. So I'm sorry about that. I think I can make it through the hour. I think if I can't make it through the hour, I'll just go downstairs. But I think I can make it through the hour, even though I'm a little bit hoarse right now. But that's the way it is when you have allergies and pollen is around. That's what we live with. I have a couple of emails over here to refer to. One is from Captain Midnight. This Captain Midnight, give me William Byron, the number 24 for the race at Darlington. So I have placed that in the great book. And hang on, there's another one here. Mr. NASCAR. Mr. NASCAR, the mysterious Mr. NASCAR, takes the 20 for Darlington. So that's in the book too. And here's what we have so far for those of you who keep up with these things. Captain Midnight has a 24, Lady in Black the 8, Early Bird the 22, Nice Guy the 11, Mr. NASCAR the 20, Mr. Leaksville the 24, Mr. Draper has the 20, Charles from Danville has the 8, Jack has the 45, Pretty Man. Pretty Man has the 20, Mark from Mayodan has the 11, and Citizen D has the 5. So we still have 2, 3, 4. We still have five folks. Well, we have 4 folks and 1 artificial intelligence yet to make their picks, but she'll get that taken care of probably this very evening. So you can call in or email in your pick if you have it ready. Somebody wanted to ask me again how many races there are in this segment. There are 14 races in this segment. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing tonight, Ken?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I want to pick the 22,
I'm sorry, which one?
the number 22.
Mr. Pelham has the 22. Okay, it's in the book.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to go with Kyle Busch because Kyle Busch has had good, good luck at that track in years past. But I just don't think Kyle's going to do anything, and he can get another on another team. I mean, his pit crew, it just keeps throwing him on the bus. It seems like every other week. If not that, he's doing his own mess up, with speeding in the pits on cautions and that kind of stuff. But love to see Kyle win one, but I don't think he's going to do it with that crew he's with.
Well, I like to see him win one too. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's almost like he's I don't want to say jinxed, but it's almost like he's jinxed. Something seems to go wrong every time. Even when he's running well, maybe especially when he's running well and he looks like he's got a chance to win, then something leaps up and bites him. It's just getting weird.
It is, man. I believe he's been jinxed, Ken. I think he's been, ever since he went with Richard Childress. I'd like to see him drive a Toyota again, but I'd like to see him do, but don't know if that'll ever happen again.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I don't know if any other team would be eager to hire Kyle Busch because he's going to cost a lot of money. And I have a feeling that where he is now might be his last stop.
I think so too, Ken. Afraid so. Yeah, he is one of the highest paid people in NASCAR, if not the highest. But yeah, he makes a ton of money. There ain't no doubt about that.
And he's earned it. But
Yeah,
I don't know what's in the cards for him from now on.
right, right. You know, Darlington was my favorite track until they redid Atlanta, and but it's a driver's track. You got to know what you're doing to win at Darlington. That it used to
Oh
be my
gosh,
favorite.
yes. Yeah, it is. Darlington is one of those places where very rarely, you can't say it never happens, but very rarely does anybody who hasn't been driving it for a few years win at Darlington. It's a real, I'm told, not that I know anything, I'm told there's a steep learning curve at Darlington.
That's a fact. Yeah. Did you see Mr. Trump's speech today about the tariffs?
I didn't see the speech. I did read about it.
Well, you know, I watched the whole thing, but I did not hear him mention the country of Mexico or Canada at all, except for some of the milk tariffs on Canada and that. But I thought, you know, Mexico and Canada was going to be one of his biggest tariff dealers, you know?
Well, now, don't we already have, I think we already have 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, don't we?
I wasn't aware of that, Ken. I know as of midnight tonight, he's going to do 25% on all foreign cars, and but I didn't know he already had the tariffs on Canada and Mexico already. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they're already there for Canada and Mexico, I believe, which would have been why I wouldn't have mentioned them today. Everybody gets 10% at midnight today. I guess every country that we buy anything from, gets a 10% tariff at midnight. There might be a few exceptions to that, but in general, that's a universal one. And then there's an addition. I think there's a special edition for China. I believe China, the products we're tariffing from China now, that'll be up to 34% against
Right,
China as of midnight tonight, I think.
right. Yeah, China's 34, the EU is 20, Japan is 24, and India is 26%.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I might be wrong, but the way I see it, these people's got 401ks. I feel sorry for them because it's tariffs is going to make things hard for everybody as far as consuming can. You know, Trump said again today, I think he said it about 3 different times during his speech, that we collected $100 billion worth of tariffs from China.
Well,
and when he talks about it is we collected that from China. We don't collect that. The consumers pay that.
No, that's not how tariffs work. China doesn't pay the tariffs. Mexico doesn't pay. That's not how they work. The president says that a lot, but that's not what happens. What happens is whoever imports the product, Walmart or whoever it is who imports the product, they pay the tariff. And then, to one extent or another, they pass that along to the customers. It's not always dollar for dollar, but no, China does not pay the tariff.
All right. You know, we've been buying bananas, Ken, for 50 cents a pound for it seems like years now, but I bet you won't see no more of that again. He said today, too, that the price of eggs came down 59%. I'd like to know where he's shopping at.
Well, not at any store that I go to.
Yeah, me either. Ken, thanks so much for taking my call, man. Have a great weekend.
Well, thanks for calling. Good to hear from you. Phone line is open up there at that number. The email address is keneccleslive@gmail.com. You can give us a call or send us an email as you wish. And let's get the email thing open over here again. Emailer says, Ken, I just wanted to say what a refreshing show last night. We had April Fool's jokes from Mr. Draper, Masked Singer updates, a bug in the sauce, Mr. Pelham, and other good information. I don't recall anyone calling in bashing Trump or Republicans or bashing Democrats. What a refreshing show without all this divisive political talk. We'll get back to this in a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ken, it's Mark from Marion.
Hey, Mark.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
That's good. I'm doing okay. Uh, let's see. I was going to remind you and Charles from Danville to make sure you watch The Masked Singer tonight.
8 o'clock. Local Fox affiliate.
Yeah. I was watching the local buzz today. I think Charles said his birthday was April 30th. Is that right, or is it March 30th?
I don't know, Mark, when his birthday is. I guess whatever he said is probably right, but I don't know.
Yeah. I was planning on sending him a card or something.
Well, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. Of course, if it was March 30th, it's already gone. But you can send him one in April. He'd appreciate it, even if his birthday was in March.
Yeah. So I seen I think it was Brett Barry yesterday on Fox News. He said that he picked the final four to be Duke and Florida, and then he's going for Florida. And when are the games?
The games are Saturday. There are two games on Saturday, and then those two winners play on Monday for the championship.
Yeah, that guy Brett Barry from Fox News, he said he's going. His pick is Duke and Florida for to be the final, and then he's predicting Florida beat Duke.
Okay, well, I think he's wrong, but who knows? I might be wrong.
Okay, thanks again.
Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. The emailer was saying it was pleasant without all the divisive political talk. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I hope we have more shows like that. Well, so do I. I don't know if you've noticed or not. If you haven't noticed, I've told you. If somebody didn't bring up politics, I'd never talk about politics unless somebody brought politics up. Now, somebody brings it up, obviously I'll talk about it. But I'm not going to start it. He says, Ken, do you know what's going on at McMichael High School? I heard today that 2 staff members were placed on leave and under investigation by the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office at McMichael. I don't know about that. 2 staff members on leave and under investigation by the Sheriff's Department at McMichael High School. I am not aware of that, have not heard anything about that. If anyone has any actual information about that, then please let us know. We'd love to find out. All right, thanks for that email. This one says, what did that man say last night about his spaghetti sauce? Did he say it had a fly in it? Not a fly. Not a fly. It would have, I guess it would have been a fly eventually. No, it was he said a maggot that was in his spaghetti sauce last night. A future fly, I guess we could say. You know, I hadn't thought about that all day, and I'm going to try again now, not to think about it. Ken, what is Tar Heel and Mayodan's pick for the race? Always interested in knowing Tar Heel from Mayodan's pick. I won't tell you why. Oh, okay, you don't have to tell me why. I don't have Tar Heels, but you know, it might be, hang on a second, it might be that one went to the other email address, and I can find out here pretty soon. Because sometimes his goes to the other email. No, it's not there yet. I think Tar Heel has not yet made his pick. But if it comes in while I'm on the air, I'll tell you what it is. Oftentimes, his doesn't come in until after I've gone off the air, and I think sometimes it comes in on Thursday. So don't know yet what Tar Heel in Mayodan's pick is going to be. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Pollen, folks. Pollen, allergies. Can't help it. Ken, how long have you been working at Star News? Because I've only been watching for about a year, and I'm just wondering how long you have been working there and where you worked before. Well, I've been here. I wouldn't necessarily call this working. It's not in the strictest sense. I have been here. I've been doing this particular thing, gosh, for 12 years. Well, a little over 12 years now that I think about it. Started this in August of 2012. So going on 13 years I've been doing this. And boy, it doesn't seem that long. I was on Monday Night Live a long time before that. I guess on Monday Night Live for the first time in 1987. And Mark and I did Monday Night Live for a few years, and then new ownership bought the station. And the new owner, the first thing on his to-do list, top of the list, apparently, was to get rid of Monday Night Live. So he did. And then Charles Rourke bought it in 2004, was it? And he brought Monday Night Live back in 2005. So I guess I've been working here now. I use the term working loosely. I've been utilized here for now 20 of the last 20 years. So with Monday Night Live and then this show for 12 years. When I worked before it, well, I wouldn't say I actually worked anywhere. I was on radio a lot in several different places with several different names. But again, I don't I don't strictly call that working. But that's what I did. I guess it's working because I did it and they paid me for it. So I suppose in at least the academic sense that means that it was working. I guess the real question is, have I ever had actual gainful employment in any situation that benefited society? No. Nope, I've never done that. But there we are. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Ken, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. While I'm thinking about it, put me down for number 5, please.
Number 5. Liberal takes number 5 for Darlington.
I think number 5 is coming alive.
Number 5 coming alive. We will find out this weekend. It's in the book.
Yeah. All right, Ken. Look, I hate to bring up this subject, but I think there's nothing more important than losing your freedom except for your soul. So I'd like to make a correction, please.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Monday night, someone texted that the man incorrectly taken I spoke of had filed incorrect visa paper. Well, that's not the case. On Tuesday, the Trump administration admitted that there was an administrative error on their part and that the man had protected legal status. The man's name is Kilmar Albrado Garcia, who was removed and sent to El Salvador prison, snatched up while his child was in the back seat of their car. These are facts. Joe Rogan, right-wing blogger, said he objected to snatching people without separating them. And he think it's a bad idea because Joe Rogan said you get rid of a lot of innocent people and keep the guilty. And Ann Coulter say that she's a Fox News commentator, and she said that she was objected to this snatch and grab method of taking people in groups of people and not really identifying the criminal from the innocent. So I just like to correct that, but I was correct. The man that they snatched and grabbed on Tuesday, Trump administration made the comment public that they had made a mistake and they had administrative error. Okay.
Okay. Well, I was not aware of that. That's information I didn't have. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that out.
All right. And thanks for your show. And I hope you get to feeling better.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your call. And you got the 5. Good luck.
I got the 5. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. You can add that to the list of picks. Liberal has the number 5. Excuse me. Liberal has the number 5 for Darlington. This emailer says, Ken, have you taken any medicine for your allergies? You know, they make medicine for that. Well, yeah, they do. I have not taken any medicine. You know, and here's why. I'm not anti-medicine. I take a lot of it. And that's one of the reasons I haven't taken any for allergies. The allergies don't really disable me. Unlike for some unlucky people, allergies just, they annoy me a little bit, as you can hear now, but they don't disable me. They don't really stop me from doing anything. So that being the case, I have figured that I just won't take any medication, since they don't really disrupt my life. They just, irritate me for a little while. If it was more serious, and it is more serious for some people, one person in particular that I know has a really bad problem with them, then I'd certainly go to the doctor and try to get medicated. But since they're not all that serious for me, I do not seek medication for allergies. But those of you who have allergies, to the extent that you need medication, I certainly don't discourage anybody from doing that. Okay, here is ChatGPT. Here's our artificial intelligence prediction for Darlington. ChatGPT, the AI, who's currently tied for last place, but who's counting. ChatGPT takes number 9, Chase Elliott for Darlington. Is Chat the only one with? Yep, Chat is the only one with Chase Elliott for Darlington now. So we've got everybody except don't have Tar Heel and Mayodan, and don't have Leon yet. So those are the only 2 outstanding. And once again, ChatGPT takes Elliott, number 9. You know what we might do next segment, as long as we're about this. Next segment, I might we might let another AI in. So we got ChatGPT this time. Maybe next segment we'll let DeepSeek play, or perhaps Gemini, or who knows. Let them all play. None of them can win any prizes. None of them are eligible to win, and probably wouldn't go to the race if they did win. It might be interesting to see how they do against each other. Chat, of course, finished 4th in our first segment. So it was behind 3 humans and ahead of 13 humans in our first segment. So maybe we'll give the others a shot next segment. It is, of course, a 14 race segment. Excuse me. Well, I said allergies didn't disrupt my life. Maybe I spoke too soon. Hello, Ken. I see that you picked Duke. I did pick Duke. I see that you picked Duke to win the NCAA tournament. Aren't you concerned that the Ken jinx might short circuit the Blue Devils' chances of winning? After all, nobody you pick ever wins. Is that not true? And are you in fact, well, this is getting aggressive. Are you in fact picking Duke just because you are a secret Duke hater and you are trying to bring about the defeat of the Blue Devils by picking them to win? I think you owe America an I think you owe America an answer. Yeah, well, I guess I do. No, I'm not a secret Duke. I'm not a secret Duke hater, and I'm not picking Duke to win with the sinister secret purpose of hoping to cause them to lose. That is not what's happening. Um, Although that may be how it turns out. If they do lose, obviously, and I know you'll be absolutely certain that if they do lose, it'll be because I picked them, and I'm ready to deal with that. But that's not why I'm picking Duke to win. I'm picking Duke to win because I think they are the best team. I think they're the best team, so I think they'll win. That's sort of a simple and boring and non-conspiratorial way to do it, but that's how I'm doing it. I think they're the best team, and I think that they will win. And let me skip over this one and get to this next one because the next one is about basketball too. And this is not a sports talk show. I'm supposed to mention that it's not a sports talk show, and it's not. But let's get to the next one, which is also about basketball. And it says, Ken, I think you had a good idea. Oh, I think you had a good idea about what you said the other night about the coaches having challenges so they don't have to stop the game every time a ball goes out of bounds in the last 2 minutes. Don't you, though, think, Ken, that the college basketball ought to have a 24-second clock just like NBA has? What do you think about that? Well, I'm kind of happy with the way college is right now. I like the 24-second clock, and I like the 30-second clock. I wouldn't change that. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Ken. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
All right. First, I want to sincerely apologize for my April Fool's joke. I didn't think you'd take it seriously, and I know you got heart situations too, and I didn't mean to upset you.
No, you didn't upset me. You did upset somebody, but it wasn't me. No, but this is not real serious. But somebody did tell me today that they got really scared when they heard you say that until they heard you say April Fools.
I said it real quick.
Yeah, you did. You said it real quick, but nobody's really upset.
Okay. Hey, I just want to read this right here real quick to you.
Okay.
The White House official alleged that Khalil was mobilizing support for Hamas and spreaded anti-Semitism in a way that is contrary to the foreign policy of the United States, a claim that Khalil has denied and the government has released no evidence to support. The INA was originally used to oust those suspected of being Soviet spies, but it has now been used to punish speech, and it's unclear what evidence Rubio would need to provide to justify suspending Khalil's First Amendment rights. Despite the shaky constitutional grounds, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced Tuesday that the Trump administration fully intended to move forward with more arrests like Khalil's, meaning that its crackdown on free speech of Palestinians and their advocates will likely continue.
Okay.
And that's what the liberal was talking about just now.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, I think that the initial question was whether he was in the country illegally or not. The assertion was that he had misrepresented something on his visa when he applied for the visa. And apparently, based on what the liberal told us a while ago, the White House said that there really wasn't anything wrong with the visa itself.
Well, and Garcia and they said he lied on it in the beginning when he first got it, the green card.
All right, and this is now. By the way, we're talking about two different people here.
I think so, right?
Yeah,
we are. So. Yeah, Garcia and
Khalil.
Garcia was who the liberal was just now talking about.
Yeah, Garcia was the one who apparently had something wrong with his visa, but the White House, according to what he told us, then acknowledged that there wasn't anything wrong with the visa. Khalil is the free speech guy,
right?
Which raises the question. That goes back to the question that we were talking about the other night: is what rights do people, non-citizens, even though they're in the country legally, what rights do non-citizens have to free speech? And I don't think the courts have ever absolutely settled that.
Yes, they have. They do not have the same rights as Americans do.
No, they don't.
They're not Americans. They're here on a green card. I've read it. I've read about it. And
they definitely
cannot come here and incite. They can't come here and incite situations that would cause chaos or situations for American people.
Well, no, they cannot incite violence. That would be a crime in itself. Nobody has the right to do that.
He's accused of inciting Palestinians to revolt.
Right. But again, those are two different questions. I don't think there's any question about somebody who tries to incite violence. That's certainly a crime, whether you're a citizen or a non-citizen. The technical question, it's really a technical question, is to what extent do legal aliens, to what extent do they have free speech? I don't think that's been defined in court, so I don't know.
Well, free speech would let him be able to do what he's doing, but being a having a green card,
it would let him be able to have speech. It certainly wouldn't allow him to incite violence if that's actually what he did.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, before I forget it, let me change my driver to 24.
Oh, you want to change to the 24? All right. Yep. There's a fee for that. There's a change fee for that.
Will you send it to my account? On account, I ain't got no money.
Boy, we've heard that before. Okay. We'll give you a free one this time. We'll change you to the 24.
Okay. I appreciate that.
So there it is.
Okay. All right, buddy. You take care and have a good night.
Well, thanks for calling. Good to hear from you. And hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ken.
Hey.
This is a nice guy.
Yeah.
I was wondering, when you read the paper every day, do you work a crossword puzzle?
Well, not if it's already been worked, I don't.
I've never worked one in my life.
Well, now you always do the Sudoku.
Yeah, I can do those. They're easy.
Yeah,
I can do that blindfolded.
Yeah, they're not too hard. I like Sudoku, but I got a whole book of Sudoku, so I don't need the paper Sudoku. I do like to do the crossword puzzle. Somebody, I don't know if you did it or not. Somebody worked the crossword puzzle in one of your papers, but usually they're blank.
Well, I try to get a few words, but I'm not any good. I've never worked one.
Never finished one?
Never finished one in my life.
Well, I'll finish them for you then.
Okay. Anyway, well, look, I was just calling to check on you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
Good night. That's Nice Guy who has what does Nice Guy have? Nice Guy has the 11 for Darlington. Still have not heard from Leon on his pick, or from Tar Heel in Mayodan on his pick. Hey, Ken, who are you picking for Darlington? What say you, Ken? Who am I picking for Darlington? You know, usually at Darlington, you may know this already. Usually at Darlington, I automatically pick Denny Hamlin. It's just something I do. If it's Darlington, I pick Denny Hamlin. I'm not going to do that this time. And I don't have any logical reason for that or for anything else that I do. I'm just not going to do that this time. I'm going to go up a digit, and I'm going to pick the 12. I'm going to pick Blaney for Darlington, because nobody else has picked him. So I'll be the first. So I'm in the book for Blaney. By the way, people always like to know what position would I be in if I was officially taking part in the contest. If I was taking part in the contest, I would be, well, suffice it to say, I would, in the first segment, I would have finished 16th. The first segment, I would have finished 16th if I had been officially in the contest. In this segment, I'm in one. We got ties all up and down the place, and for some reason, it's escaping my eye right now. I think I would be with Charles. I would be with Charles and Mr. Draper and Mr. Leaksville, tied for around whatever they're tied for, which is, I think they're all tied for fifth. Oh, tied for fourth, I think is where they are and where I would be. Boy, this is getting too complicated for me to understand. But I would not be leading or anywhere near leading. Suffice it to say that nowhere near leading. Let's see, there was another one here. Where was it? Can we get back to the Duke Blue Devils for a second? All right, let's get back. I don't think Duke will win the championship. I don't even think Duke will be in the championship game, to tell you the truth. I think Duke will lose on Saturday, because I think Duke is overrated. I think Duke is overrated. I think they are arrogant. I think they are full of, let's say, themselves, rather than the word that the emailer uses. I think they are full of themselves. I think they are the worst basketball team that I have ever seen, with the worst coach that I have ever seen, representing the worst college in America, in the worst town. Wow, this one goes all out. Worst team, worst coach, worst college, in the worst town in America. In other words, I despise Duke with every fiber of my being. I despise Duke and all that they stand for and all of the evil that they do, because they are the devils. All right. I think we get the message there. This emailer does clearly does not appreciate the efforts and the accomplishments of the Duke Blue Devils, and said so. So there. Phone line is open. There's the number up there on your screen. If you want to call us, you can also send us an email, and I'll bet somebody's going to at that email address, keneckleslive@gmail.com. Another one about Duke. Well, this isn't the one I was expecting, though. Ken, do you know how the Duke Blue Devils got their name? I don't. I don't know how Duke teams came to be named the Blue Devils. It's in this email. I could have read ahead and cheated and claimed that I did know it, but that's not how I play it. So let's read on. The emailer says the Duke Blue Devils got their name from an Army unit. I think it might have been an Army engineering unit in World War I, is how the story was told to me. And these guys nicknamed themselves the Blue Devils. And then somebody from them came to Duke and was a student or a teacher or something. Well, I'm glad you've got this nailed down. A teacher or a student or something, and then somehow that name of the Army unit, the Blue Devils, got passed on to the Duke teams, and then they were the Duke Blue Devils. I'll bet you didn't know that. Well, I've already acknowledged, I've already freely acknowledged that no, I didn't know that. So that's news to me, if that's how it happened. Somebody look that up. That sounds like that could be. No, that does sound like a believable story. It sounds very credible to me. But I think there may probably some details there that are kind of left out. Somebody, if you can, somebody look that up and find out exactly what the story is there on the Duke Blue Devils and the Army unit, if that's what it was. And how that name actually got passed on, because I'm kind of interested in that right now. That's very, very interesting thing. Here's the one I was expecting. Ken, I would like to know what kind of idiot. I shouldn't use that. I take that. I shouldn't have said idiot. I'm going to change that. Ken, I'd like to know what kind of individual believes that Duke University is the worst college in America. Now, I can understand not liking the basketball team, because some people don't. But to say that Duke University is the worst college in America, that's just sheer nonsense. I think we go too far when we let this whole thing of hating a sports team cloud our judgment to the point that we transfer that hatred with false accusations and nonsensical claims about everything that's associated with that sports team. And it's just crazy to claim that Duke University is the worst college in America, or that Durham is the worst town in America. Anybody who thinks that Durham is the worst town in America has never been to Fresno, California. All right, I don't want to get Fresno, California mad at me. So I didn't say this, folks. I'm just reading the email. Now, to get to the Duke Blue Devils, the worst basketball team in America, if they're the worst basketball team in America, how come they're in the Final Four? How come they won 30-some games again and only lost 3 games? How come they will have at least 3 players drafted in the first round of the NBA draft when the NBA draft happens? How come all of that if they are the worst basketball team in America. Do you know what I think we are dealing with here? Asks the emailer. I think we are dealing with a Carolina fan who just can't stand it because Duke is still playing and Carolina is not. And that is the end of the email. All right. Now, each side now has had a say on that. So we'll just, as far as I'm concerned, we'll just let that rest where it is. If somebody wants to add something, you can do that. But I'm finished. I'm finished talking about that particular controversy, because one thing I never want to get between, under any circumstances, is a Duke fan and a Carolina fan. I'm not going to wade into that. I will just say again, I think Duke is going to win because I think this season right now in this current configuration, I think the Duke basketball team is better than the other basketball teams. And I don't offer that as any sort of comment or assessment on any other aspect of the relationship or the lack thereof between Duke fans and Carolina fans. I am absolutely 100% out of that one. Okay, so Ken, have they made a decision yet on this North Carolina Supreme Court thing, and how long are we supposed to have to wait on that? Well, we're supposed to have to wait until they make a decision, and they have not yet made a decision on that. So we'll wait. We will continue to wait on that, and we will wait on. There's one here about the gold. What we were talking about the other night, the gold that is in Fort Knox, or is not in Fort Knox, as the case may be. Let me find it, because I apologize, I didn't get to it last night. Ken, about that gold in Fort Knox, if it's in there, I read a story today that says that the Trump administration is going to send inspectors to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there, because they said that a few years ago, and I don't remember what year it was, that somebody decided to move the gold out of Fort Knox and distribute it. I remember this story. To move the gold out of Fort Knox and distribute it at several different locations around the country, like in caves and things, to keep it safe, because they said that they found out that the Russians have a bunch of missiles targeted straight at Fort Knox, so that if there was a war, the Russians would try to blow up the gold to take away the United States gold reserve. So at that time, they decided to move the gold out of Fort Knox and put it at this whole long list of secret locations everywhere. And now the Trump administration wants to find out about that. And so they're going to send somebody there to look. What if it's not there? Well, what if it's not? I would think, well, let's back up a second. Wouldn't you think that if the gold had been moved to other locations around, wouldn't the president know that? I don't know if they could do that and the president not know it. So I don't know. I'm on the outside looking in here, but I kind of think that if the gold has been relocated for strategic purposes or purposes of safety from attack, that the president would know that already. And yet, according to the emailer, it is the president who is sending people to Fort Knox to see if the gold is in it. I don't know. That whole thing seems kind of strange to me. So I don't know. I will see if I can find out something about that. I do remember. I know this part is true because I remember a few years back they were talking about moving the gold out of Fort Knox and distributing it at secure locations around the country for the very reason that the emailer mentioned, is that they didn't want the Russians to blow it up. Um, I don't know that they ever did that. I don't think it was ever officially announced that they did that. And even if they did it, they probably wouldn't officially announce it, would they? But surely they would tell the president. I think that was during the George W. Bush. I think that was during the George W. Bush administration when that happened. So surely they would have told George W. Bush, and certainly he would have passed that on, I would think, to Barack Obama and then on to Donald Trump. So I don't know, emailer. I don't know. Here's a emailer who has sent me something about the Rockingham County schools. Two McMichael High School staff members placed on administrative leave, and this is a link to WXII television, and this is from WXII television, and I need to mention that. And here's what it says. It says, two staff members at a school in the Piedmont Triad have been placed on administrative leave, according to officials with the Rockingham County Schools. District officials said they became aware of allegations involving two staff members at Dalton McMichael High School on March 21st. The employees were then removed from the school and placed on administrative leave pending a full investigation. Officials said that due to the nature of the allegations, the district then contacted the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. And here's a quote. As a district, we have high expectations for all employees, particularly regarding student safety. That's from John Stover, superintendent of the Rockingham County Schools, who went on to say, we want our students, parents, and community to know that we take these matters seriously. Any employee who is found to have violated RCS policy regarding conduct toward students will be immediately referred to law enforcement and held to the highest standard allowed by law. The investigation is ongoing. So that is a news release from the Rockingham County School, and a quote from the superintendent. So thank you, emailer. I appreciate you sending that along. Still don't know, obviously, the full details of it because they are not, at least in this, not releasing details on exactly what the allegations are or anything beyond that, or what positions the two employees hold. But obviously they are, two of them are on administrative leave and being investigated by the Rockingham County Sheriff's Department at the request of the school system. So there's what we know about that. And again, emailer, thank you. Thank you very much for sending that along. We appreciate it. What time is it? Getting close to time. Here's another about the gold. Ken also read that the Trump administration wants to trade the gold for Bitcoin. How about that? I don't. What the news story was, and I guess this was a statement by somebody in the White House, but I don't know who. They said that the administration might consider exchanging some of the U.S. gold reserve, if we still have it, exchanging some of the U.S. gold reserve for cryptocurrency. Now that's not something that's been done. It's not something that's been decided. That's just something that was spoken about by somebody in the White House, that perhaps at some point we might take some of our gold and trade it for cryptocurrency. I don't think they specified Bitcoin. I believe they just said cryptocurrency. So I don't know about that. I probably there isn't enough substance to that right now to even warrant a discussion. That's just I think that's just one of those. One of these days we might think about. I don't think there's any more to it than that. Anyway, they got to find the gold. They got to figure out where the gold is first. They're going to go look at Fort Knox and see if it's in there. And if it's not, I guess they'll tell us if it's not, or maybe they won't. Anyway, they'll know whether it's in there or not. And if it's not, they'll probably find out where it is. And then we'll see if we can unload some of that for Bitcoin. And that is all the time we have for Star Talk this week. We're on the air Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you'll join us next time. I'm Ken Eccles.